Do you have like the little clapper?
Yeah, we should. Action. It's silent, but that's okay. Hello, everybody. How's it going? It's Brody here with No Pain, trying out some different camera angles. This is obviously a wider angle. I thought too much of me in the camera could be a bad thing, so we decided to change things up a little bit. We are here today with Kimberly Ho. She is the president and principal HR consultant of Honiva.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad. I was a bit of a tongue twister, but I got it. How are you doing today, Kim?
I'm good, Brody. Thanks for having me on, and I'm really excited to be part of this first podcast. I've
Right.
never done this before, so.
Right. Well, here we are, and we're doing it. Fantastic. It's been great. You've been here for about an hour already. We've been just
Hang on.
talking and getting used to one another, and I guess organizing the approach for the podcast today. But it's been a good experience, and I'm excited for you being excited because podcasts aren't always the funnest thing in the world, but depends on how you approach doing the podcast, right?
Oh, I think we have something good here, so.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, well, what gets better than showcasing local Calgary businesses, right?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of us out there.
Yeah, there certainly is a whole lot. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Honiva and what its primary operations really are?
So really we started many years ago. We just passed 16 years in June here, and so we really began as an international consulting company doing career consulting, and that led to our clients asking us to do HR work. So really working across the States and Canada, did a little bit of work in Europe and Australia.
I didn't realize you were international,
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
but founded in Calgary. But
Yes. But we localized back in 2017. There was just a lot of changes to the employment standards here, and we're still helping companies catch up. It's amazing, but it was really the first time that the legislation changed in most people's lifetime. So everything from vacation, holiday pay, all those entitlements for time off and hours of work. So now today we're setting up people's HR departments as they're growing their businesses. So meeting a lot of brilliant business owners around the city.
of course, you'd certainly be exposed to quite a few business owners, let alone a variety of trades and businesses. So
Yep. So we work across different industries and locations, but we do have a sizable group of clients that are in trades. So whether it's roofing, drywalling, HVAC, electrical, we help them all, and it's what I would call a fun mess.
a fun mess. Yeah, that's one way to put
they
it.
they don't know how to do it. They want to do it well, and so they just take that first step, reach out and ask for help.
I see. Well, that's where HR comes into play.
Yes.
And for you to take an interest in this industry for yourself and to create a business, it's admirable for sure, because I don't feel like that's a very common line of work.
I started out as a student entrepreneur. I didn't even mean to become a business owner.
I
So
see.
a little bit accidental, but really followed all the opportunities. People gave us a chance, and now we're at that point where we can give back. So we're doing a lot of mentoring. We're training the employees within our client groups.
Right.
Just kind of teaching that next generation. So just to see where things have gone. It just really started out as nothing more than an idea that's grown into something. Like, if you look at our name, that's a word I made up.
Right. Honiva.
Yes.
Why not? Why don't you throw that on the screen there for a second,
Yeah,
Daniel? We'll give
so-
him a taste.
Yeah, so
Give him a
it's,
taste.
it's-
Honiva. I like the logo,
Oh,
certainly.
thank you. It's part of our recent rebrand that we did last year for our 15-year anniversary.
15 years already.
Yeah, so we
Fantastic.
had our team do that, and Honiva itself is honey and Iva. So honey is that warm feeling, that welcoming message that we want to give to people, and Iva is the tree of knowledge.
I was going to ask Iva. I've heard of like the Yggdrasil and I think Norse mythology. I'm not sure
Um,
if it's Norse
Iva comes
mythology. I'm not
from
sure.
Hawaiian and Japanese folklore.
Iva is.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Interesting. It's interesting to see how these ideas can kind of transcend culture and geographic location. All these different subcultures have similar. I don't want to
Well,
say
yeah.
mythology, but different ideas.
Yes.
Like
Well, that's what ties human fabric together, right? It's
right,
the storytelling that goes generation to generation, and we do a lot of education with everyone that we meet,
right.
and I think that helps them with their people management, especially yes, there's the work component, but why not build a great workplace where you can create friendships and joy and just really a high performing team that does well together.
Of course, people are extremely important, and the more appropriately managed these people are, and I mean, given the right opportunities and the right working environment, they can certainly work miracles and achieve greatness.
Yeah,
Right.
well, we see it like, we get invited to open houses and groundbreakings. Like, oh my gosh, we went to one groundbreaking once, and just for a memorable moment, they had gold-plated shovels just to have that one photo. um, we worked with this pediatric urgent care center out in New Jersey many years ago, and now they have three centers. So um, just knowing that you're not only working to create the infrastructure of people management, but you actually touch people's lives. Like people are alive because of something that we might have done, or the guidance we gave someone to make a good decision.
Of course, it takes
Yeah,
external factors to really help to guide people in the right direction and promote growth.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Daniel, could you up the sensitivity maybe a little bit on Kimberly's microphone? I think she's number 2. Just having a little bit. No, on
Sorry, I
the
thought
no
she'll
on
talk
the
a little
no
closer.
on the
Yeah.
yeah, right on. Just yeah, no, it's okay. I'd like to hear you a little bit better than I am already. That should be better. Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Fantastic. So why don't we get to know the ins and outs of managing this business a little bit more? Why don't we start with some of these services that you guys actually provide? I think we spoke a bit about it before this, but one one aspect that some companies need help with managing or facilitating is actually finding skilled tradesmen or actually hiring the right people, right? Do you want to tell us a little bit about how Honiva ties into, say, finding
Yes.
skilled tradesmen?
Yeah. So, you know, over for sure the last year and beyond that, the clients that we worked with did very well even through COVID, and they've been screaming for help. They're turning down work and opportunities just because they cannot fill the labor requirements that they need for their different projects.
Right.
Um, yeah, so they come to us, and there's a lot of investment that goes into recruiting. There's the aspect of communication so that they're reaching the right job seeker, but also the flip side of how do you keep your current team happy and engaged and productive without burning out, because they're growing tremendously right now. So we help with building the job itself. So that's job design, putting together the specs of what you need and who would be a good fit. Um, and then we go through the whole recruitment marketing to find that right person. For some companies, we work on employer branding so that their messages and their are aligned with their culture and what they value. Because it's if you're putting together a group of people, you want them to get along and enjoy each other's company. And say in the trades, if you're not hiring someone that cares about safety, well, you're gonna have a lot more accidents,
Of
right?
course,
And
it's
so
difficult for the
yeah.
on-site personnel to just oversee safety measures without a designated,
Yes,
safety guy.
yes. So we take a look at all of that, and then they also have questions around pay, like how much should I pay this new person,
Right.
whether it's a tradesperson, a journeyman. It's we go through a lot. We are part of World at Work, which governs international compensation and wellness and benefits professionals. So, sitting on a lot of data and information. We built our own tools to measure the strength of people management within companies. So how well are you actually taking care of your team? Because we get all the anecdotal stories of, yes, I think I'm, doing well here, or no, I'm being shortchanged. I'm not happy. I'm going to move on.
Right.
So we bring all of that to the clients that we work with. Yeah.
Fantastic. So a wide variety of resources that come from HR, of course.
Yeah.
Not only for the employed, but the employer
Yes.
as well.
Yeah. So we deal with a lot, and so that's where the variety comes in. There's a focus still on compliance.
Right.
It's like we were talking earlier, there's almost 20 different ways to take time off work.
Mike, did you hear that, Mike? I hope you're listening. 20 different ways to take time off work. I'm going to have to talk to you a little bit more about that, Kimberly, before you leave, because what is going on? Oh, wow. I'm getting that's very horrible timing. That's funny because
the phones are ringing.
The phone is connected to the TV, and now the TV and everything's... Oh, because that phone's ringing, and that phone's right beside Daniel's microphone. Oh, well. Thanks, Nolan. If he's watching, Nolan tried to call me. But hey, anyways, he can wait. He knows that we have a podcast every Thursday at 3 p.m., and he decides to call me in the middle of it.
Must be important.
Must be important, or he forgot. I mean, I don't know. I think the latter, more likely. But anyways, I'm sorry for the disturbance.
No, it's okay. We get emergency calls, too.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, this isn't my boss, so I'm not answering it. Because if it was the boss, it'd be a different story. But I'm sorry, I kind of forgot exactly where we were in that conversation with that.
You were just asking, how we help different companies that are growing, and they're looking at their team and just trying to figure out what's the best way to make decisions.
I remember the first question was how you actually play a part in actually acquiring skilled trades for companies, right? And so I guess there are a few different levels of criteria that need to be met before you would, I guess, advise a company to hire said person.
Yes, yeah, because we want them to, make decisions that they're going to be comfortable with, right? And, not everybody's perfect. Sometimes we will do interviews on behalf of our clients. We're able to pick up a lot of information that then helps them welcome and integrate that new person. For example, we recently helped one client hire an accounting person, super eager to get started, but they were full of ideas. Well, how do you make sure that they're still engaged but also learning the company processes, which might be a little bit different from their last place of employment? So just going through that onboarding, teaching them the rules of the workplace, whether they're written, unwritten. We write a lot of policies. A lot of them were close to 200 pages long.
Interesting.
For that one employee that will sue you and destroy everything that you've built.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
And, for a business owner, that's crushing. We've gone from working with businesses that they're looking 20, 30 years into the future. A good handful of them have been sued and have lost, and they don't want to go through that again. So just putting in the safeguards, even though we are working in the field of human resources, most of what we do is actually risk management, just to make sure that they don't make the mistakes and get blindsided.
Of course, it could be very easy to, I guess, in other words, find a way to accomplish a specific goal, but with total disregard to the repercussions that could come along with it, right? And so I guess that's where you guys would come in as well.
Yeah, like one example is there's a difference between wrongful dismissal and constructive dismissal.
Right.
One, wrongful dismissal, you clearly broke the law. No arguing around that. But constructive dismissal is you accidentally fired someone and you didn't even notice. Because you changed their job.
Accidentally fired somebody and didn't notice.
Yes, you changed their job, or, you took away some of the responsibilities, and, that's not the agreement that you had when that employment relationship started.
Right, okay. So, for example, say hiring a robot that could do the job that this employee was doing, but you'd call that, or that would fall under constructive dismissal. It might be constructive in terms of, say, profit for the company, but detrimental when it comes to the...
Just my disclaimer for the day, I'm not here to give legal advice because I can't. But, it's, sometimes it does come down to the skill of that legal team to argue and defend you.
Right, of course.
Because it's all perspective sometimes,
Yeah, of course.
right?
Yeah.
There are tests to determine if something did happen, but yeah, we see it, and you know, it's surprising that in Calgary alone, we meet a lot of employers. They don't even have employment contracts in place for their employees. Nothing to protect them,
Right.
right?
To protect the employer.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
Or
Right.
the employee as well, right?
Right.
Like when it comes to timekeeping, because whatever work you're doing, right, it translates to the pay that you bring home. And if there's no record of that or it's not kept properly, then someone's gonna get upset.
Of course, it's very
Yeah.
easy for people to manipulate that system.
Yes.
Um, for example, No Pain Roofing, I know, utilizes QuickBooks Time,
Yeah.
which is
Yes.
another timekeeping application,
Yes.
obviously related to QuickBooks, but it also incorporates live tracking
Yes.
of whichever device is using that application, and obviously really helps to keep things transparent and straightforward for all of those involved. So, I mean, yeah, having some sort of system that would help to manage that sort of obligation, I suppose, on behalf of the employer and the employee was wise.
I
of
think
course.
it's very really relevant for no pain roofing, just because your crews are all over the city,
Right.
right? Like you can't watch everybody.
Yeah, it's easy for
Yeah.
someone to just stop off at a bar for an hour while you're still
Absolutely.
clocked in,
Yeah.
right? Or just, starting to milk those,
Hmm.
I guess, what's the word? Milk those,
Literally it's time fraud. We're seeing
right,
so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, like people are playing the system to get fake medical leaves.
Right.
The whole mental health. I need a mental health day. I
Mm.
think it's important because they are stressed. It's a very hard time out there, but if there's no safeguard in place to actually vet and validate that those are true claims, your benefits costs are going to blow up.
Right.
You lose a person, you have to find a replacement, so that you are hiring again.
I see. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
things are connected.
the mental health day thing, I feel like that might be a little bit difficult to verify, right? I mean, unless you went to, say, the walk-in clinic and explained to the doctor that you were having a mental, or I guess you were, say, overly worked or stressed, or you just have personal things that you need to actually
Yeah.
address, and you would, I guess, try to get a recommendation or at least a
Hmm.
slip from the doctor in order to support the mental health day that you'd request off from your employer.
Oh,
I guess
yes,
that could be a difficult thing.
I've definitely worked on that side, and when I see certain doctors' names come up, I know that I need to dig a little deeper,
Right.
because they're the ones where you just pay a nice shiny buck and you're gonna get that medical note.
Right.
But in Alberta, we have, there's specialized clinics that actually take care of those assessments for mental health. And as an employer, you have a right to request a second opinion and send your employee to a doctor that you want them to go to.
Right.
We have specialized relationships and partnerships throughout the medical community.
That sounds like a whole lot of hassle for a single day off of work. You know what I mean? Just in terms of, it depends on who you're working for, but like to go and see a doctor of your own, say outside of working hours,
Yeah.
which can take quite a bit of time, and then provide the evidence to the employer, and then for the employer to request a secondary evaluation, which will only take more time, and this is all just for a single day off, to like at least relax and calm down and help yourself to focus on whatever it is. I mean, in order to enter the workforce or re-enter the workforce in a better state. That just sounds like to me a lot of hassle to go through that, right? So
I think if you're an employee and you're working at a company where you have to take that much trouble to get one day off, you are not in the right place.
that's what I was going to say.
But
It
for
would
the
depend.
businesses we
Yeah.
work with, that's not the case.
Depends
at
on
all.
where you work, of course, because you do have, like, as I would assume, it would be some like mega corporate type job where there's just so many different loops to jump through. I mean, the position that you're in and the people that you actually communicate with from day to day are so far removed from the high ups or from the owners of the business, and I feel like that would probably be the situation where that becomes more necessary.
Yeah, and we do see that in the way that people gravitate to different companies. So, typically, and this is not a broad brush or anything, but employees at the beginning of their career, they want that fancy corporate job or whatever, that big company, whether it's a giant developer. And, they sell their soul for a good many years.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully, they have that moment of light where they see that there's a better way to live. Right.
Right.
And so people closer to the mid stage and end of their career, you'll notice that they actually gravitate to smaller, medium-sized businesses. And for us, when we first started, we were working with the large companies, but now we're working with more the mid-sized and smaller ones, and they're starting earlier to put in their HR infrastructure.
Right. I see.
And it's really, really good to see, because if you do that earlier, you don't have as much cleanup.
Of course, you run into a number of issues later on in the year. Later on, if you choose to overlook the importance of human resources in the early stages.
Yeah, like, as an example, we teach people how to file, how to build an employee file properly. All those vehicle inspections that you do, the driver's abstracts that you send in, your resume that you don't know where it ends up.
Mm-hmm.
We clean up those file rooms because there's a lot of rules and regulations around how to collect information, how to use it, how to store it, and then destroy it, right? Like all the privacy laws. And we teach our clients that so that they know. We teach them about human rights. We teach them about safety. It's just, there's a lot. And, one document that we create is an employment contract, right? It outlines all the different rights that you have as an employee and the responsibilities. And, there's fun parts to it too, right? Like there's the information on the bonuses that you might be eligible for, or the different perks that you get to enjoy as part of that new workplace that you might be entering.
It's important to have people like yourself there to make these benefits, these perks clear, right? And as well as making these guidelines abundantly clear as well for the employee, in order to, I guess, make clear what is expected of them, right? In order to remain a worthwhile member of the team, right? Yeah. But also a member that is actually profitable as well too, which is also an importance.
And I think, beyond profit, we're working with very generous people. They want to make sure that their team gets to go home safely. They get to, we're having a baby boom at one of our clients right now, as they feel secure. No matter what's happening in the world, they feel secure that they can have a family. They can go on vacation, save for retirement. So we bring in people to have talks with them of, why is it important to have a will even if you have no assets, or financial management. And then beyond that, like, we are introducing new programs. So for instance, at one contractor, we help them implement a new health spending account, teaching employees what they can actually claim for, whether it's the paramedical services and the new pair of glasses. And they're taking care of their health much, much better. And if your workforce is healthier, you don't have to replace them. They're not away on sick days, right? They have that work-life balance that everybody is searching for.
Right, providing these opportunities for your employees will certainly only, it would create a large return, of course, and them showing up to work, for example, and boosting morale is also a large portion of that. So,
but it was not always easy. I remember, like, I would go to a new business and the employees would be scared. They think I'm there to, fire everybody because HR has come.
Right, I see.
Yeah, I apparently walked into this situation once, and it's just, you can feel the mood, right? But after a good couple months, and they start to understand why we're there, right? We're there to make their life easier. Whether it's to teach them about their vacation allotment, how do you actually ask for that time off, or how to actually be a part of a team, right? Not everybody gets along together.
Right.
And so, having those open conversations, and it works. None of our clients have ever gone bankrupt. The only struggle they had was maybe during COVID, where they literally couldn't operate. But with that, they didn't quit, right? They opened up new arms of service. There's some companies, for example, we work with concrete businesses. Their business is seasonal typically. They cannot, you know, really work, beyond like half a year if they're lucky with the weather we get in Alberta. And, we were just renovating our office. They came in, they did some testing, and now they do epoxy flooring during winter. Now
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
year-round business, much more profitable. They can now afford help because employees are expensive.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can imagine. It's important to overcome and adapt, of course. I know No Pain Roofing I dipped our toes in that field as well. We were installing Christmas lights for a long time
Oh, I
as
did
well
see,
throughout the
yes.
winter months.
Mhm.
That became quite a hassle, and it was very difficult in sub-zero temperatures. It was a requested service, and we tried it, but we no longer provide that service. But overcoming or adapting and overcoming tribulations, like for example concrete crew who can't pour concrete when it's negative 30 degrees.
Yeah.
For them to get involved in like indoor flooring was certainly a wise move on their behalf.
Yeah, and like in a couple weeks here, we're doing like a Honiva happy hour. So most of our clients, coincidentally, they're within a short drive of our office,
Right.
and so the No Pain team is welcome as well to join. But it's a learning workshop, and the topic is about optimal business structures. Right, whether you're a startup or a larger company that's established and trying to open up a new business division, how do you actually structure the business in a way that it can succeed? It can flex, big and small, up and down, whatever the economic situation is. And it's amazing when people start to use the tools that we develop for them. Yeah, because you don't want to cut out the legs right out from under you when you're in
Right.
crisis. So just seeing the strength of the people that we work with, they are now in a position to help others. We are involved in a lot of different charitable activities. And when the refugees were coming over from Ukraine, there was a call just for toiletries. Our clients stepped up and bought the whole aisle of soap and just cleaning products and towels just to welcome these individuals to Canada. Like, that's the community that we get to be a part of. And
Fantastic. Yeah.
yeah, like, it's beyond work now.
Of course
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, it is.
To be welcoming and to be interested in having new people enter the workforce and in your business particularly is something that people undermine, I think, sometimes anyways.
Yes, and I think with the changes that we're seeing, like, there's a huge inflow into Canada right now, and people are scared. They don't know what to do when they look at a work permit. And I can tell you sometimes the skill level of that person could be higher than you can get, right? Typically, but if you don't know how to administer that paperwork and that employment relationship, you lose out on that opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I could imagine that it could be a difficult process. Even just filling out a marriage license application, which I did recently, was a huge pain in the butt.
Oh yes.
I couldn't imagine like a work permit being a foreigner or entering a different country, whether or not that's my first language. It could be an extremely intimidating experience.
Oh gosh, it's even as basic as, can I get your banking information so I can pay you,
Right.
or your address so I can set up your file or your SIN number. Yeah, there's a bit of that administrative paper chasing, but
Of course. Well, that's where HR comes in, because it will help to administer or at least implement business structure, and a business structure that works.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
extremely important.
And over the years, our clients have asked us to open up new service lines. We started out doing planning and development, which is building all the pieces of an HR department. And now we do administration, kind of like the day to day of someone called in sick, what do I do? Or someone is hurt out in the field, what are my WCB obligations? And now, we're doing more advisory work because they've grown to the point they cannot Google for help anymore because their situations become quite unique. And then they asked for information services. So that's where the education comes in, but we also publish reports. And because we are a part of that leadership team, we see the strategic plans of how they want to grow, their priorities, just, where they're operating their strength. And I mentioned earlier that we have a tool that we use to measure the strength within a business. And yeah, it was, as we were measuring different clients, it was going down for a bit, but it's turned a corner and we're seeing stronger businesses operating again.
I see. Why don't you describe the tool or the process in which you would determine something like that?
Yeah, so it's, we call it the HR baseline assessment. It looks at 7 different specialty areas or disciplines. And it's similar to like engineering, how they have all their different disciplines. So we will measure them on their governance, so their ability to make good decisions that are strategic versus just in the moment. Because when people call, it's just whatever the emergency of the day was. It looks at talent management, so how they're recruiting or selecting a person to work with them or onboarding them. Looks into total rewards, so are you making decisions around pay, with thoughtfulness? Or, is it just a bit of a guess when you're pulling numbers out of the air, right? And I will tell you, people do that. And then they get better, right? Because if I was to chart that, it's going to look like a scatter chart. And then over time, there's, it looks like a bell curve, like it should.
Fantastic, right. So, yeah I guess using tools like this can certainly help to inspire the employers or business owners in order to, I guess, more closely manage or facilitate.
Yeah. They're looking for knowledge at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
It's just so that they can go home and rest easy at night, right? Because as a business owner, your decisions impact people's lives, right? And so you don't want to take that lightly. And,
of course.
Yeah, and at the places where we work, the employees are quite vocal because they have that relationship.
Right.
So not only is the communication top down, but it's coming from the bottom as well. And everybody has a voice. And it's really good to see. There's been so much, talk in media around Me Too and Black Lives Matter and just inclusivity, diversity.
Of course, yeah.
As an HR company, we are the most diverse in the city. So we bring that cultural understanding and that element. So yes, we do. We have talks about racism in the workplace, discrimination. Someone sued an employer for, their peers calling them Four Eyes. They won 5 figures in that lawsuit.
Holy
if
moly.
they had respectful workplace training, maybe they would have been a little bit more culturally sensitive. Yeah, the lawsuits that are going through right now, quite entertaining.
Well, yeah, I mean,
really,
Four Eyes, that's an entry level insult, Four Eyes, but he felt discriminated against.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to recognize the opportunity he had in that situation, working for the company that he did in order to, I guess, gain compensation out of that.
And that's the route people are taking, right? Rather than the route of an employment law complaint, they're taking a human rights complaint, and they're making bigger dollars. Some people never have to work again.
Well, wouldn't that be great? I wish, if anybody part of the No Pain team, if any of you want to discriminate against me.
Sorry, I'm giving them ideas.
Yeah, I'm totally open to any one of you guys, calling me whatever it be,
But hey, in the trades, we joke around, we have a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna say things are a little different on the roof,
Yeah,
roofing crew. I mean, any trades for that matter, I mean, things certainly change depending on your occupation.
But you guys listen to each other, right? If someone's like, "Hey, stop," or you cross the line, like you listen.
Yeah, there's no bullying. There's no, we give each
though.
other crap here and there, but it's not. It's totally different. But I could imagine like being in like a large office building, and you have your own cubicle. Yeah. And there's another 35 people in the same floor in their cubicles, and there's a wide variety of people with different occupations outside of work. And bullying is a real thing, even inside of the workplace, right?
Yeah, and like, as a person, I understand the reality of it, but as my role as an HR consultant to, protect the company and help guide them forward, I have to have those conversations. Like, most of my life is difficult conversations, but we look back at it and, some people are thankful and some people get angry, and that's okay. We're there through the laughter and the tears.
Have you thought of hiring somebody for your team with like a large ruler stick that they could just walk around the office and
I want to put like that mousetrap sign on my door. It's like, next complaint, just put your finger there.
Yeah.
But I put a doorbell instead, and it has music.
That's much more approachable, no doubt about that.
Thanks.
Well, this has been very interesting. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so much more to do with human resources than I had realized. There's so many
Thank you.
different angles, so many different requirements a business would
Yeah.
require.
I'm so glad I got to share it with you because I love that you can open the door and people can see into this world. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
all
of course.
paperwork, it's not all forms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just thinking to myself, the requirements that businesses require. That was an interesting sentence I said, but I'm trying to wrap my head around just how many different things that human resources actually facilitate, right? And you've made that more clear to me. It's obviously much deeper than I had thought, but to know that we have professionals out there who know how to properly manage that aspect of owning a business, it's reassuring.
It is, but the reality is it's a hard skill set to find. Like
Yeah,
we
probably.
cannot just hire another HR consultant off the street.
Right.
Most people that are trained in HR, they can carry and maintain a program. They cannot build it from scratch, and that's the challenge our clients give us. It's a blank whiteboard or sheet of paper, but it's also a lot of fun. Right?
Yeah, well, it gives you an
That
opportunity to be
creativity.
creative, right? Or It's funny you were saying creativity, and I kind of mimicked the creative.
We're on the same plane.
Yeah, that's funny. Um,
Yeah.
I can certainly see the need for HR personnel. Um, luckily, I mean, without hiring designated HR personnel, No Pain has been evolving
Mhm.
um, in a way that has been beneficial for everybody.
Yes.
As I had mentioned, using, finally implementing QB time. It's been a long while now, but
Mhm.
just being a part of the company for so long to see these things become commonplace, we're certainly in the right direction, and I commend
Yeah.
Mike for taking
Oh
those
my
steps.
gosh. I think, shout out to Mike. He is the leader that No Pain needs, right? He
Indeed.
cares, good heart, but also a good head on his shoulders. And that's what we look for in our clients. We don't work with people that call and it's like, I heard a new law. How do I not follow it?
Right. Yeah.
When the new overtime laws came into place, I got so many calls. We don't work with those individuals. We don't work with the ones that are like, I just bought a new company. How do I flip it for a good profit?
I
Right? Like,
see. Right.
that ruins so many people's lives.
For sure. Yeah.
But we work with the ones that they want to grow and keep building opportunity for others. Yeah, and it's such a good group, and now they come and hang out with us, and it's
Of course. So it's a
yeah,
rewarding occupation for yourself to be involved intricately with all of these different local businesses.
yeah.
What is that?
It's a GoPro.
Oh, it's the GoPro making that. I was like, that's not my cell phone making that noise. But
I feel very lucky, right? 'Cause,
right.
I never imagined this is where life would take me, but to be surrounded by people that are gonna be there. Our management philosophy is growing together, so everybody lifts each other up. When one business is in crisis, there's others to step in and help because we work with a lot of industry clusters.
Right.
So, right now we have one business that they are mostly in Alberta and they want to move into BC. And then we have another company where most of their operations are in BC. They work with the same group of clients. We make the introduction and then we watch the magic happen.
Yeah, because I
'Cause
see
both
how you could
companies
kind of
work
cross cross contaminate, dare I say, their industries
Yeah.
in a way that's beneficial for the
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah. And for trades, it's amazing, right? One facility that gets put up, everybody's involved.
Yeah, it's like with me, say, doing a re-roof, right, or
Yes.
doing an inspection. I see, okay, well, there's a large portion of siding missing or damaged.
Yeah.
There are companies that we work with that, hey,
Hmm.
throw them a bone. Here's,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
throwing work at each other because we are part of the same external or
I
exterior,
love that about this sector,
exterior
right?
construction.
You share and you all grow together. And
Right.
like talking to students nowadays, it's hey, go into the trades. You're gonna have a great life, and then maybe apply to these companies because we created their HR function, so you'll be really well taken care of. And we have referrals for that very reason. We have parents that introduce us to the companies where their kids are working because they want them to have the best life there.
Yeah.
And our clients, they love what we're doing, and they introduce us to their friends too, and that's how we've grown. Yeah, I try to do marketing, and it's on and off. We get better at it, and but really, it's the friendships that we've made. Like, we barely call them clients because there's so much more to us than that.
Yeah, of course. And having the opportunity to work with a wide variety of people
Yes.
and create those relationships that transcend
Yeah.
professional, right?
Yeah.
It's rewarding, of
Oh,
course, right?
yeah.
Maybe a little less often inside the roofing
Mm-hmm.
trade, considering almost a new client almost every other day, right? And there is
Oh,
not very
yes.
often prolonged
Mm-hmm.
communication or contact with the clients, but there can be those few situations
The
where you
ones
get
that
to know
come
somebody.
back with every hailstorm.
Yeah, they come back, or you do a single repair, and then they notice something else they'd like done, and something else they'd like done, and then
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, it's the end of the day. You're on their property. It's your last job, and they offer you to eat with them, right? Or
Yeah.
I've had that happen before, where they're doing a barbecue, and they offered for the crew to stay and have a barbecue with
Aren't
them,
those
right?
the best people?
Those are the best people, yeah,
Right.
right. That's the best, and I
Mhm.
mean, it beats a cash tip, of course, to sit down and eat for one, but get to know them and
Yeah.
be a part of their household almost.
Yeah.
Getting to share a meal like
Creates
that, it's
good
great.
memories.
It certainly does.
Yes.
Yeah. So, other things that I remember us talking about, you had mentioned employee perks,
Oh, yes.
and how there is quite a variety actually between businesses or companies. I was
Mhm.
hoping you could maybe explain some of them that you can remember and how they differ from one another.
Okay, so like beyond the cash that you get in your paycheck,
Right.
we see very lucrative benefits packages,
Right.
which give people, medical coverage, dentistry, vision care, critical illness. Right now, we're seeing, a change in the short-term and long-term disability, and with the laws in Alberta, if you're sick, you have a gap, and you're literally screwed for a while
Right.
until you get help. And so we put that into place so that there's that continuity of care. But on the fun side of it, like, we have businesses that are exploring again, right? Experiential rewards are growing. So the ones that create memories, for instance, rather than giving you a bonus check, which, you're going to say thank you and whatever,
Of course.
they create a whole experience around it, whether it's like awards night or dinner that they take you out. Um, we have one client, he's taking all of his employees out for lunch regularly now. And it's really fun. We have meetings, and it's like, hey, don't forget you have a meeting after lunch.
Right.
Make
Yeah.
sure you show up. But they're great, right? Because they get to talk with the ownership, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
um, you know, uh, in our I guess role as a business owner, sometimes we don't realize how much of a pedestal some people put us on sometimes, and to have that moment where they can talk to you, it's just you humanize the experience. And so we're seeing that. Some companies give sabbaticals for professional development or personal growth. So kind of going back to our earlier conversation around mental health, that's a way
Yeah.
to reset some people.
It would certainly take
Yeah.
quite the resources for the company in order to actually allow for that, because the sabbatical is basically paid leave, right?
Paid or unpaid.
Paid or unpaid. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Okay.
But we are working with businesses that can do that. Like, they are successful. And yeah, it's amazing. Like, business trips, that's a privilege for some. Getting your home office outfitted by your company is sometimes very nice too.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, but we also see the side that companies are not watching for. You can make WCB claims for injuries that you have at home. So if you're not doing hazard assessments of the employee's home before they're working at home.
Is that something that's more recent, considering the pandemic that we had gone through? Like, because I feel like people working at home
Yeah.
has been more. It's been more.
I'll
What's
say
the
it
word
like
I'm
this.
looking for?
For the employers that know, they're very cautious,
Right.
right? Because they need to make decisions that are going to keep that company alive and well and functioning. So yes, you can have your team work at home, but you also need to provide education and resources. So, like for our own team, when they work at home, I do a full hazard assessment of their workplace. So, making sure there's no tripping hazards, there's appropriate lighting and heating, and all the electrical is in place.
No rabid animals. No,
Yeah.
no aggressive kitty cats.
Yes. Well, there's this lady recently. She tripped as she was going to get water between meetings or whatever, and now she's on a nice WCB leave for the rest of the year. Right? Like
That's crazy.
that
No,
employer
that's
didn't know.
great. That employer didn't know. You mean, or
They didn't know that could happen.
oh,
right?
that there was a tripping hazard.
But
I see.
it's not a new right that employees have, right? Like we pay those premiums for that insurance, so we won't be sued, but we still, have to pay the premiums after those incidents. And it takes a good couple years before your WCB record returns to pre-incident.
Right,
So,
of course.
yeah, just imagine if you wanted to give your team a bonus and you can't afford it because you now have to pay fees or fines.
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can understand how that could be very frustrating and expensive.
Yes. So, like that didn't happen to any of our clients, thankfully. They are much more aware, but like those are the nightmares that some business owners go through, right? Like you don't go start a business with that in mind, but it does happen if you're not careful.
Right.
Yeah, so a lot of good stories.
Yes, of course, a lot of good stories and a lot
Right.
of a lot of great
Mhm.
ideas. I guess for perks as where the conversation started.
Oh,
Anyways,
yes.
you
Oh,
gave us
yeah, other
no, you gave
perks?
us quite a
Yeah.
few. No, you answered the question
Devices
adequately.
are pretty good.
No, it's okay. But oh yeah, devices. You've seen that
Yes,
before. or anything?
vehicles. Oh yes, like um, all the tablets and phones that people get as part of their employment. Some companies give discount programs to their team. Some are doing like loan forgiveness for anyone in like heavy student loan debt that's starting out, or they'll help you pay your mortgage or down payments.
Oh wow,
Like
help with a down payment. Michael Payne. Things are a little different. I'm not technically an employee, but I'm just joking.
But yeah, like if your company is in a strong position, the options you have just open up.
Of course, right.
Yeah.
The better your duck, or I guess the more organized you are as a business, the more you have your ducks in a row, the more the opportunities present themselves to,
Yes. Yeah.
I guess.
Oh man, to run like a well-oiled machine, it's really
Yeah,
good.
of course.
But
And then
it
you have
takes
more
work.
resources, you have more time to focus on
Yes.
the working man and
And
try
women.
to and well, yeah, of course, I understand. The more opportunity you have to treat your working force, right?
Yes, and like good talent is hard to find. We started this conversation around recruitment. If you are taking care of your team, they're gonna bring you the good people, right? Because who doesn't want to work with their friend? Well, some people don't, but it for many it's enjoyable, right? You get to hang out together all day, and you're doing something that you both love. We get that opportunity. We're working with people that don't feel that they're working because they really enjoy it.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same thing, but when I'm up on a roof or stuffed inside of an
Oh, I'm
attic,
sure
no
you have
matter
hard
what,
days.
no matter what I try, I feel like I am working, no matter what I try to do. Every trade is different.
It's okay.
For that reason.
We have days where there's deadlines and.
Oh, of course, yeah, no. Well, with what I provide to the company here, I guess in other words, considering inspections primarily, a lot of people are not available throughout the day, right? And I have to work
Yeah.
towards the end of the day, but
Mhm.
that's just part of what
Yes.
goes along with this type of occupation. So
Oh, I bet you've seen some good stuff though.
I have, yeah, actually. Well, today, I can't say it's good stuff, but interesting things that you see. And today, I was inspecting a home that was neighboring a house fire from a few days ago, inspecting for damage and things
Oh.
like that. So to be up close and personal
Mhm.
to a home that had gone through a tragic event like that was interesting. Right? It was
Gosh.
saddening, but it was interesting to see the kind of impact that kind of disaster could have on the surrounding homes and the
Yeah.
roof. Right?
Well, maybe I'll flip it back to you. You shared, you gave us the chance to share some of the services what we offer, but maybe do you want to speak to some of the ways that No Pain Roofing helps your clients?
Oh, no pain roofing.
Yeah.
Yeah, put me on the spot a little bit, but I can certainly facilitate.
I'm a master
so
interviewer.
I mean, well, first and foremost, no pain roofing. We cater to roofing needs, whether it's small repairs or even large repairs or full roof replacement. We take care of that. not to mention underneath the roof itself, inside the attic, when it comes to the framing or the decking, sheathing of the roof, whether or not that needs replacement fully, or even just decking over, or even bracing the interior of the attic space and the framing itself. We cater to insulation, top-ups, removal, replacement. We do all the bathroom fan, HVAC services as well, whether it's hard pipe or insulated flex hose. We facilitate vapor barrier upgrades and repairs as well inside the attic space. We also have sub-crews within the company for siding, other exterior repairs. The list goes on, but exterior renovations made painless, right, as our motto, and there's a wide variety of them. But when there is a need, there is no pain roofing. So it's been,
oh man, I love it. You guys put out the coolest videos and you just have like the best time. And
Daniel is the mastermind behind those videos, and we're very happy to have him. Yeah, we're happy to have him. But large and small, it's not the most exciting stuff. It's all roofing and siding, and
but you're literally keeping a roof over people's heads.
it is important because without a roof, your electrical won't work, right? Your kitchen would be flooded.
Well, I travel to places where they, their roof is barely a couple shingles and tin and just holding together as best as possible. And, one gust of wind and that's it, right? And to know that you guys are helping so many not live in those conditions
it's rewarding, even if it's a small repair, even if it's like this most minor repair. The clients are always so happy. Right?
I bet the homeowner is just so relieved.
Yeah, certainly, because they're worried about property damage for one, not to mention damage to the, I mentioned property damage, but the structural integrity of the home itself too depends on the umbrella, right? Or in other words, the roof. But
I think my fear is always like, mold in the attic or animals.
I have had to evacuate. I've had to evacuate quite a few birds in the day, quite a few squirrels. Once there were 5 squirrels that I had to evacuate.
Oh gosh.
And it's never pleasant, only because, for one, I'm putting them out on the streets. And with birds in particular, it's a nest, and sometimes that nest is full of eggs, and I am being paid to remove this nest. What am I going to do with this nest? And there's 5 eggs in it.
Relocate it somewhere?
We have actually, I guess, surrendered, baby birds to the, not SPCA, but the
sanctuary?
I can't remember the name of the place. It was a while ago, luckily, since the last time I actually found hatched baby birds.
Wow.
Or was that my wife, actually? That was my wife who found them, actually. She also does inspections for the company. I think it was her who found the baby birds. That was many moons ago. But if we must, yes, we will certainly bring them to Calgary Humane Society, I think is where we'd bring them. Luckily, squirrels.
That's what
of course, and it's horrible. Like, squirrels, they'll scurry up a tree or whatever. They can rehome easily, but to find a nest full of eggs or baby birds, which happened once, it's sad. Yeah, it's really sad, unfortunately. But yeah, animals, certainly something you have to worry about inside the attic. Mold, you mentioned. Primary locations for mold essentially is usually right around the attic hatch itself, because there could be less than airtight seals there to allow for warm air and cold air to mix in those areas throughout the winter months. Create a lot of frost and ice. It melts. We have mold growth.
That's the difference between an amateur doing it and a professional.
Exactly, and it can be sometimes very difficult to see, but seeing the onset of what could become extreme mold eventually it's worth pointing out to the client. The other primary area being the bathroom fan exhaust systems. Also, usually most of the time less than airtight. And in the winter months, it's very easy to see because you'll find a lot of frost and ice on the underside of the roof.
I haven't seen that myself.
Right around the exhaust pores, but again, that would melt. It gets, the plywood or sheathing is waterlogged and mold starts to form. So it's usually the primary areas where I find it, but certainly worth thinking about. And if you are a homeowner, don't be afraid to go up inside the attic yourself, because it'll save you a lot of time and potentially save you from more extreme hazards that I don't want to have to come along and find for the first time.
I just peeked into ours a few times a year.
That's better than most. Some clients, some hatches, when I'm pushing them, they just won't, they've been closed for 15 years, right? And they just glue themselves shut over time. Or then again, the expansion and contraction of the wood around it too, just so tight sometimes you can't even get in it. My wife Carly, she did an inspection yesterday or the day before, She couldn't open the hatch because there was so much roofing debris on top of the hatch from the previous crew. The nails and shingle chunks and all that were between the side of the hatch and inside the, like, just kind of pinning the whole hatch closed. It was interesting, but you see a lot of things.
Did she get it open in the end, though?
Actually, no. She didn't. They couldn't get it open without damaging it, so they instead called me to come over to the site she was on to go up on the roof and actually remove a vent on the roof to try to get some photos inside the attic. And of course, one of the photos shows this big pile of debris.
Just had to do it the hard way.
On top of the attic hatch, right? But yeah, no, there's wide variety.
It's very good to hear. Like, you know, we work in different areas, but I think the attention to detail, the quality that we give to our clients, and, you know, the joy that they have working with us, it's, you know, it matches there. So.
Oh, of course. I mean, customer, I guess leaving the customers satisfied and getting the kind of, or how do I word this? Yeah, customer service is first and foremost extremely important. Providing quality over quantity, as Mike Payne would put it, is extremely important, right? To provide service or quality service, right? And regardless if it takes extra time, that's what the client is most, the most.
They remember that the most.
Yeah. See, I don't know. Right? I'm losing my train of thought slightly. I was working like a dog up until 5 minutes before you showed up, which was not long before.
And then
the
I
podcast.
showed up early.
That explains my shirt too.
I didn't even give him a break.
Yeah, she showed up right at 2:00. But no, that's okay. I'm just sometimes I'm working so much before the podcast, I don't have a lot of time to get in the mindset because I'm setting up the whole podcast and doing all the computer, all the tech and everything, and then it's showtime and I'm scatterbrained. But
no, you did really good.
What I was trying to say was the customer is obviously very focused on quality and to be sure that the job was done properly and things, and that certainly transcends just the industry I'm in, but obviously major thing in the industry you work in as well. And with Daniel, for example, all the photography and videography quality is above all else, right? So that certainly plays a large role in any business, right?
Yeah, and you know, if we don't pay attention to that, that's when mistakes happen, and then there's going to be a lot of upset. So that's not what we want.
Yes, of course.
Yes, but I think, you know, we definitely went over a lot today. And,
yeah, of course.
Are there any questions from the audience, or
I'm not sure if
guess our word?
No, not this time. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. But I certainly do have one more question for you, Kimberly. Yeah. This will transcend the business talk.
Okay.
Because there's been a lot of that. Question would be more about getting to know you as an individual rather than a business owner. But what are some of your hobbies? Like, what are some of your interests outside of work?
Well, beyond HR, I'm a real person too.
Yes, indeed.
People think I work day and night, but I also have time to recoup too.
To live.
I can
time
be the
to live.
best for everybody.
Right.
I've been getting back into my hobbies. So I used to be a lot more active. I was talking to you earlier that I used to go rock climbing as you're watching your cat run around.
Yeah.
But no, I'm getting into more quieter hobbies. I got back into knitting, so
fantastic.
I made the squishiest little baby beanies, and
nice.
I was making dish towels, and people wanted it, and I was like, okay. And then we're doing soap making.
Making soap.
Oh yes,
fantastic.
My first batch, I exploded it a little bit because it was too hot, but much improvement, and really good for like people who have very sensitive skin, like psoriasis or eczema. Just calms it down because it's natural soap versus you know, what you buy in this department stores or grocery stores or whatever, where it's full of detergent. So just being a little bit more healthier, taking my puppies out for walks.
Good.
They're, you know, just brand new. They're not even 10 months old yet.
So you feel my pain then in that case, as you were saying when you met my puppy earlier. Yeah, it's a different
but
type
I think it's great. You're giving him a home and a pal. And
oh, of course, yeah. But
yes,
but you know all about puppies. You certainly do.
You know, just trying to be there. I have a really, really good boyfriend, so just going out for date nights and having the special time together.
Cool. What's his name?
His name's Stefan.
Stefan, you rule, man.
Oh my gosh,
you
couldn't
rule.
Do this without him.
Yeah, she couldn't do it without you. You'll see this one day, and I'm telling you, Stefan, man, you're doing it right.
Oh gosh, he started. He wanted to work for so long in the company, and I was like,
great.
I don't want want this. I wanted to keep it separate, but our lives are intertwined, and I made him start from the bottom.
Yeah.
I made him, do the admin work, and then he grew. He did a career change for me. He went to school. He just finished his degree, so I'm so proud of him.
Fantastic.
And now he is an owner right alongside with me, making decisions, and really that's the strength and the backbone that allows us to do what we can for others.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm happy to hear that you're so
Oh,
satisfied.
Thanks for letting me do a shout out.
No, of course. I thought I'd help you with that as well too. I mean, to hear just how
He loves being behind the scenes, so might be blushing a little.
Well, hey, if I mean, we do have reoccurring podcasts. Like if you guys were to come back, we would encourage you to bring him. He seems to be a large part of the company as well.
Yeah.
If we guys have you back for an episode number 2, certainly bring him.
Cool.
Yes, bring him with.
There's so much more.
Yes, of course.
Yes, but thank you so much. I had a great afternoon here, and
Of course. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what everybody says about it today.
Of course, yeah. Well, you will see this podcast will be available on all the other platforms that we've been streaming from. As soon as the podcast ends, it becomes available, so you can certainly watch it for yourself. You and Stefan can watch it.
Oh.
And we will have all other behind-the-scenes photographs as well, videos that Daniel's been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, Carly would be here as well, taking care of all the other tech, but
Yes.
he was able to get some good photos as well and things. So all that will be online.
And hopefully we'll
yeah.
see you again, again at our happy hour. We're holding it probably every 2 months.
Right, yeah.
And just mixing fun and executive education for people that are in, important roles of decision
So
making.
where and when does this happen?
It's at our office. So our landlord is amazing. He's sharing his space, so we're doing a bit of a party and learning session together.
Right.
Wednesday, September 21st is the next one, 4 to 6. And yeah, just maybe a heads up so we can make sure there's enough food for everybody. But
Of course.
everybody's welcome to join, and hopefully have a really good time together.
Yeah, we'll take a note of that certainly because Daniel and Carly as well actually attend these events together sometimes as well. So that would be a good one to throw on the calendar for you guys.
No, it's not bad.
Yeah, I think it's a really good group. You'll get to meet the people that we've been talking about. We didn't share names for confidentiality.
Right, of course. And well, you did say happy hour, so I mean that might get everyone going. Anyways, Kimberly, it's been great having you on the show. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you. very
You've
much.
been extremely excited about it. Even before we started streaming, you were excited to get involved in the
yes.
podcast world and spread information about Honiva, which
thank you very much.
we're happy to hear about, and we're happy to help cross promote.
Yeah,
so.
I think it's great, and definitely if we ever run across anyone that needs help with their roof, we know who to call.
Of course, anybody who is in need of any HR resources, we know where to send them
Thank you.
as
thank
well.
You. Yes.
So fantastic. As for our viewers who have been tuning in, Mystery Word Challenge is always right there, right in front of you. You just have to guess the right word.
It's super easy.
I don't think we had any guesses today, but that's okay because you can rewatch the video if you must, and you can certainly comment guesses at a later date. And if we have no winner for this video in the future, it could be you. So it will give you a chance to win. Keep guessing. You get 3 guesses, and there's a few rules that Mike posted, I believe, on the video when we first started streaming. But if you want a chance to win $500, or if you don't win the $500, you get a bunch of all these other prizes. Just be sure to try to guess the mystery word, and
There's some sweet prizes.
and you can totally be the winner.
backpacks.
So yeah, there's backpacks, there's barbecue accessory kits, there's Bluetooth speakers, there's battery banks, there's whiskey glasses with built-in cigar holders. Oh man, what else? I'm
You
losing
guys have
track. There's a bunch
everything.
of stuff. Yeah, there's travel pillows. There's
Barbecue set.
yeah, I mentioned the barbecue set. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, man. And it could be yours. Could be yours. Just play the mystery word game.
Just gotta participate.
Anyways, I'm rambling about the mystery word game, challenge, activity, whatever you want to
just
call it.
because we want the winner to appear.
We want the winner, and I'm not going to say too much about that, but there will be a winner in the very near future. I can assure you of that. So, anyways, I'm just going off on a
we'll
tangent.
be back on the other side watching the future podcast. So
Yes, of course. Yeah, fantastic. Well, again, Kimberly, thank you for being here. It was a pleasant speaking with you.
you're welcome.
And I wish
Brody
you
and
I
Daniel.
wish you all the
Bye.
best with Honiva in the future, and I
you.
maybe see you at the happy hour. If not, I have a good feeling you'd see Daniel and Carly because
Okay.
Why wouldn't they want to be a part of that, right?
And then
And
you're
so-
going to cry because you missed a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. Anyways, great. We will keep in touch with you and maybe do another episode in the future.
Yeah, I would be very happy to come back.
Fantastic.
All right.
Okay, great. Well, hey, everybody, thanks for
Bye,
tuning in.
everybody. Thank
Again,
you.
take care and have a great weekend.